Hey, it's Flippin' MJ here. Welcome to a special edition of Aftermath. We're here covering the Las Vegas MMA fights tonight, amateur fights. Flip, good night of fights. We saw Tyler Newton versus Chris Hoffman. Interesting fight. I mean, kind of what we expected. Tyler Newton, really strong kid, really great striking. We were, kind of curious to see how his ground game went. Obviously, he rocked that, Chris quite a few times. And Chris even gave him props, for really being a strong competitor. And he thinks that Tyler's going to have a really great future. With that said, Chris's ground game is really solid. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that, Tyler, obviously, he's young. He's been training since he was 14. Yeah. I think he's around 18, 19 years old. So he still has a long way to go. Thing with Chris has been around for a long time. Jiu-jitsu is a strong suit, and it kind of showed. But, I mean, with Tyler, his timing for some of those uppercuts was great. He caught him with some pretty good shots. Really what it boiled down to, I think, is age. One person has that man strength, and he was able to kind of assert that strength. And he was kind of able, once he got Tyler to the ground, he was able to do whatever he wanted. He was able to go to mount and get in some some chokes and stuff. But it wound up being a decision in the end. Mm-hmm. But it was a great fight, and I think Tyler has a great future in the sport.
Yeah. And big props to Chris as well. I think his ground game alone, his jiu-jitsu game. He had Tyler in some pretty bad spots quite a few times in that fight. So. Both of them pretty promising fights, and I think that was probably one of the best fights of the night, in my opinion. Then we had the main event. We had Pat Garrett versus Andrew Stramler.
Right.
Little bit of controversy there at the end. It was literally a last-minute tap. If you haven't checked out the interview, check it out with the highlight footage.
Last second.
Yeah, last second. Stramler, took his back, and was digging for that rear naked choke, and then he said, once he heard the tap for the 10 seconds left, he just really squoze and squoze and squoze. And, the verdict's still out. What did you think?
I was actually filming right around right on the side of the cage, facing the area where the choke was. Mm-hmm. I have years of experience as a ref, and the thing is that even if the fingers are barely tapping in a very quick motion, it's still a tap. That's what I saw in the footage. Yeah. And it's one of those things that the coaches they're saying it's a controversy that he didn't tap. He put his hand out to think about it. You know what? Adrenaline's going. It happens. I mean, he hasn't fought in a couple of years. It was his first fight back for Pat. It was, Andrew's been kind of on a little bit of a tear, lately, yeah. And his wrestling's really good, and he's of course coming out of Drysdale Jiu-Jitsu. So, yeah. It kind of showed that, once that clapper went at 10 seconds, he went for it, and he said that it was something that he was thinking about, and he told us in the pre-fight interviews that he wanted a submission, and he got it.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew Stramler, he looked really good on the ground. Really a great outing for all the Drysdale fighters tonight. They're really solid on the ground. If you're going to fight a guy from out of Drysdale, you better have some good takedown defense, or you better know what you're doing off your back, because you're going to be put on your back and you're probably going to be submitted. Pretty interesting night of fights. A good team out of Southern California that, their team looked really well-rounded. Most of the guys sub-fighter out of Orange County. A lot of guys out of their camp that, everybody, if you don't know about sub fight, you should check them out. Looks like a good up-and-coming team out of Southern California.
Yeah, they were looking pretty good, pretty well-rounded as far as what I could tell. Really great on the feet, and when it went to the ground, they were able to kind of get themselves in the top position and then work really well from there. So, pretty impressive. It was a team I hadn't really heard of, coming out of Southern California, like Matt just said. And I really do think that they're going to be a team to watch out for coming up.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, how our thing goes. Go check out all the interviews with the highlight footage. Make sure and check out our creative genius Pono with his highlight footage and highlight reel. Nice artistic take there. And for additional coverage and exclusive content, make sure and check us out at fightlifemedia.com.